What is going on, Mavs fans? Welcome into another episode of Mavs Latest. We're almost at 350 here in the Mavs Latest family. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And again, it's going to be kind of a weird week. We don't have basketball until Friday. So we're just going to address some rumors, throw some stuff at the wall, see if it sticks. And I would love to hear, what you guys think, where you're thinking we go with it. I know we normally do the Fanfare Friday stuff, but just changing it up a little bit for this week since we don't really have, Maverick basketball to look forward to until Friday. You're going to see me hit rewind real quick. We're going to go back in time. Here's something that I heard today when I was out disc golfing with some friends. And then we'll hit the fast forward as I want to talk about something that Andrew put out there. And we'll get into that here coming up. And then we'll also hear a new rumor that I didn't personally hear, but another host for another show heard about. So I'll put that out into the universe and you guys can tell me what you think. More coming up next. Now, I know I just did the show intro and this was not what I was wearing. I just finished up a round of disc golf with one of my buddies and he threw an idea at me. Sorry, my cat is like, "Oh man, you smell like the outside." So she is very interested right now. So a buddy of mine threw an idea at me and I put it in the trade machine and it doesn't work unless we add one more person to it. And adding this one person kills the deal for me. But I figured I'd put it out there, see what y'all thought about it, and see if you could maybe come up with a tweak to make this happen. And it rides on a big hypothetical. Now, he said to me, "All right, man, I know you keep saying you want to trade AD, but what if Anthony Davis gives you 10 games in a row, he's looking healthy, he gets into shape, he's looking like the AD of old, and he promises to play the 5. Do you still get rid of him?" And I still said yes. And I was like, unless you're making some kind of major moves, like, I still feel like we've got this log jam. Then if, Gafford, Lively, AD, if he's going to play the 5, that's 3 centers that all need rotation time. And this is where it got interesting. And he said, "Okay, what if you trade Gafford?" And I was like, "Whoa, I've been against that." He said, "Hear me out." He said, "You trade Gafford, Jaden Hardy, and you've been wanting to get rid of Caleb Martin's contract. You trade those 3 for Domantas Sabonis from the Kings. And maybe you get back like Keon Ellis or one of their young shooting guards." And I thought about it. And I was like, man, if AD would play the 5 and Sabonis would want to play the 4, the power forward, he's somebody that already knows our system. I mean, the system was built basically to be around him. So then we'd have Anthony Davis and Sabonis working the ball, both learning the system. Sabonis could kind of be teaching AD the system. Now you've got me interested. Unfortunately, Sabonis and Ellis for Gafford, Martin, and Hardy puts us $14 million short. Now, in my head, I was like, okay, well, what if the Kings put in a $5 million cash consideration? Well, it still puts us $9 million short. So we would need to make some stuff happen. Now, the way to make this deal go through is Daniel Gafford, Caleb Martin, Jaden Hardy for Sabonis and Ellis. And we throw in Klay Thompson. That actually brings it down. We take in $2 million less And the Kings take on $2 million more, and they have the cap space, the apron space to do it. That still keeps them under the tax space, under the apron space, and under the second apron space by a good bit. So it was a good mind exercise of what could I do to get Sabonis to this team? Would I want Sabonis to this team? And I think I would, because then even if AD does go down, I just move Sabonis to the center. You know, the way we've been moving Gafford there. But Sabonis can actually play the power forward, where Gafford can't. Gafford's a center. And that's it. I think Sabonis can actually play the power forward. Maybe I'm tripping, but I think he could. Let me know what you guys think. Is this a deal that you would maybe want to see us, maybe start working towards? Yeah, and this was just made up by him. This is not something I've heard. This is not a rumor. This was a strictly off-the-top hypothetical that he threw at me that got me thinking, and I'm kind of interested. On with the show. And, of course, we've had to hit fast forward. We're back here in real time, and I'm going to start off by saying if I mess your name up, I am so sorry. Sayadazes 3487 says, would you trade Najee, B-Will, and one of our pick swaps for Anthony Black and Jet Howard with their 2026 pick? Big guard that can play alongside Kyrie and Nembhard, who can grow with Cooper. Also, we could sign Nembhard to a standard contract and keep Dante for a 2027 playoff push since we can't tank. Orlando might accept since Franz is hurt and he isn't the best fit with Pablo anyway. East is still wide open. We could possibly combine our two picks to move down if we have a good second half with Kyrie's return. Don't really want Jet, just want to get Anthony Black for the on-ball defense and the fit. Now, I did look into this, and it's interesting because, of course, Desmond Bane and Jalen Suggs are their main go-to guards. And then Anthony Black, he's actually had to start a few games with Suggs going down. But beyond that, I mean, then you do have Jet Howard, who has played in 16 games. And then you go further down and you're looking at Tyus Jones, and really they don't have that much depth. So they would have to think that Najee could be that sixth man for them or starter. And they would have to also think that B-Will is their secondary ball handler. Now, they very well may think they could do that, but I think losing Najee, you lose a little bit of heart from this team. I think Najee does a little bit more than what you see on the court. Him and PJ both. If this deal were to get done, would I be mad? Not really, but... And then you talk about keep Dante. Like, Dante's hurt. We haven't seen Dante. He's going to be out all this year. He's going to be a year older coming off of the injury. I want to dump that contract so fast. I want him and I want Caleb Martin gone. I don't want those contracts anywhere near us. And the other part to this conundrum is this still, Jet Howard makes $5.5 million and Anthony Black makes $7.9. Brandon Williams only makes $2.2 and Najee Marshall makes $9 million. So this trade alone, the 2 for 2, actually puts us almost $1 million over the second apron. So we couldn't even do this deal if we wanted to. We would still have to throw in somebody else to make contracts work. For Orlando, it's fine. They're under the first and second apron. For us, we would have to get rid of another contract like a Caleb. Well, Caleb Martin might be a little too big. But if we could get rid of Caleb Martin, we'd get rid of Caleb Martin. But we'd end up probably giving up like a Jaden Hardy in this deal as well, just to make contract fluctuation work. So would you be okay with giving up Jaden Hardy along with Brandon Williams, giving up 2 point guards to get back 2 big guards that don't really ball handle? I mean, Anthony Black right now is only averaging 13 points. And again, he's averaging 13 points for the Magic out in the East. What's he going to do in the West? Because that's the thing, is how much do we rely on Najee and B-Will offensively for us? How many times do we need them to pop off for a 15, 20-point game? So that's something to think about with Black. I know he would be the main guy in this. So I don't know. I'm going to say no to this one, but you could maybe convince me if you sweeten the deal, maybe change some of those players around. I mean, I've been high on Franz Wagner, but he also makes $38.6 million. So I don't see Orlando getting rid of him. I know he's technically a small forward, but could he come play the power forward for us? I think he could. But again, contractually wise, I don't see them coming off of him. And there's nobody else that I would really, really want. I know a lot of backroom chatter has been Jonathan Isaac seems interesting for the Mavs, but I don't want to be in the Jonathan Isaac business. That's just me personally. 28-year-old, 6'10" power forward. I'm okay. He can stay in Orlando. So there's not really anything else now. If they want to give up Jalen Suggs, we could talk. But just, man, Orlando's just this weird hodgepodge team that they look good, but do they look good because they're in the East? Do they look good because they're playing weak competition? I mean, they beat Detroit and they beat Miami here recently. So, man, it's, I don't know. It's weird, man. To me, that's just a weird team. But going forward, Andrew says, Nets, Hornets, Pelicans, Jazz, Raptors, 76ers, all teams rumored to tank for Cooper Flag last year, and none of them even got the number 2. Tanking is not a guarantee, it's a prayer. The presumed top 3 of next year's draft all would look great paired with Coop. But to even get a 30% chance at a top 3 pick would require being 5th worst team in the league. 8th worst, which is where a concerted tank effort might get us, has an 18% chance at a top 3 pick, and that's it. I'm not desperate enough yet to want to see that. Not until I've seen what a healthy AD, Kyrie, and Flag looks like. Not until I know exactly what I have with Nembhard, who is just starting to get real game reps and is making a difference. Lock him up, by the way. And I definitely do think he needs to get locked up. But to continue on, whether Mavs get in the playoffs as a 6-7 seed or if they are in a play-in team matters little to me. Someone still has to rise up and challenge OKC, and I've seen Mavs compete well against the other contenders, minus San Antonio. Yeah, in that San Antonio game, again, Cooper Flag's very first game of the year, he came in playing the point guard. I mean, we can go back and look at that, and there was just so much stuff going on that game that, yeah, they destroyed us, but out of sight, out of mind is that game. That was an outlier. That was not the norm, I think, when we play San Antonio. And you're totally right. I would say the top 5 prospects this year in the draft look good, and beyond the top 5, it's kind of a crapshoot. Now, if we had a mid to late round, and there's no guarantee the guy that I'm going to mention is even going to go into the draft. But Finley Bizjack, Bizjack. Look up his highlights if you've never heard of Finley Bizjack, because, man, he's from Butler. I like him. You look at his last couple of games, and yeah, he only had 10 points against Boise State, but he got into foul trouble early. He tried to come back. He was forcing the issue, kind of. That wasn't his norm. You look at his last ones, though, 29, 20, 25, 18. He's normally a pretty good ball handler, basket getter, attacks the rim really well. And I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be in the top 5. He's 6'4". He's a 6'4" guard, so he is a smaller guard. He'd be like B. Will, that attacking the basket kind of guy. But let me know what y'all think of Finley Bizjack. That's somebody that I think we don't tank, but we can use our first round pick, if it's, 18, 19, 20. I think Finley could probably be available then. And he's somebody that I think we could potentially go get and develop. And it's somebody that not a lot of people are talking about or have eyes on from what I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's projected, but I haven't heard him in too many draft projections. So let me know what you guys think. If you've heard of him, if not, go look him up and let me know. Now, our final topic, our final rumor, Marcel over at Mavericks Digest put this out. And, well, he didn't put it out, but it's something that he heard that he wanted to kind of shine some light on. And I figured I would just pass it along, put it out into the universe. I think it's far-fetched. But, again, we're going to put it out in the ether, and you guys tell me what you think. Now, it doesn't work because of contracts anyways, but Kyrie Irving traded to the Timberwolves. We would get back Julius Randle, Rob Dillingham, and 2 first-round picks, a 2026 and a 2028. Now, I don't know about y'all. I think Julius Randle is super inconsistent. He was the best player on the Timberwolves, in my opinion, during that playoff run last year, just to kind of fall off again. And that's kind of his thing. It's up and down, up and down. Rob, he could just be a secondary ball handler, but unfortunately we're losing Kyrie. So are you telling me that, Nembhard is our starting point guard? He's our franchise point guard now, going forward? Because that's how I would take that. I mean, I don't see D'Lo or Brandon Williams stepping up and being the starters. So I don't see us trading Kyrie simply because unless we're getting another, top tier starting quality point guard back in return, I don't see the Mavericks getting rid of Kyrie. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. I mean, we got rid of Luka, and I would have bet my life that he was going to retire a Maverick. So who knows? But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. That's going to do it for this episode. And whether it was your first time, your next time, make sure it's not the last time. Hit that subscribe button down below. And make sure you comment on the videos because, again, guys, no basketball until Friday. So we're going to be looking at comments. We're going to be talking about some things. And we'll try and get through this week and get to the win. To that ass whooping we're about to put on the Nets. Until then, guys, peace.